Hey there, and welcome back to The Deep Dive.
Hello, everyone. Great to be here.
Today, we're jumping into something pretty much everyone does. Maybe you love it, maybe you just put up with it. We're talking clothes shopping.
Ah, yes, the quest for the perfect outfit. Or sometimes just, replacing that shirt with the hole in it.
Exactly, but we're adding a layer here. We're focusing specifically on how to handle clothes shopping when you're doing it in English. Could be you're traveling, maybe you've moved, or you're just practicing your language skills.
Right. It's not just about finding the right size, is it? It's about the communication, understanding the questions, knowing what to ask, feeling confident through the whole process.
That's the goal. So in this deep dive, we've gathered a whole toolkit for you. We looked at practical phrases you'll actually use, example conversations, dialogues, and all the key vocabulary around trying things on, making returns, dealing with staff, the works.
Think of it as your conversational map for the clothing store. We want to help you navigate it smoothly. Okay, so clothes shopping in another language.
It can feel a bit daunting, can't it? You walk in, maybe the music's loud, staff approach you. It can be a little overwhelming if you're not sure what to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But honestly, with a few key phrases and an understanding of the flow, it can become, maybe not your favorite activity, but certainly much less stressful, possibly even enjoyable.
That's what we're aiming for today, making it feel straightforward, almost second nature. So where's the logical place to start? I guess it's when you first see something you like, right? You want to try it on.
Exactly. That's probably the first real interaction you'll initiate. You've picked up, say, a sweater. Now what?
Okay, yeah. What's the go-to phrase? You need to find someone first, I suppose.
Right. Catch someone's eye, maybe a sales assistant rearranging things. A simple, polite, "Excuse me," gets their attention.
Excuse me.
Okay, and then?
Then the direct question, can I try this on? Or maybe, could I try this sweater on? If you want to be specific, clear, simple, everyone understands it.
Can I try this on? Got it. Seems easy enough. But then where do you actually go to try it on? They don't usually just let you change in the middle of the shop floor.
No, definitely not. So the next natural question is, where are the fitting rooms? Or you could say, where are the changing rooms?
Right. You mentioned that in the outline. Fitting rooms, changing rooms. They're the same thing.
Yep, completely interchangeable. Some stores use one, some use the other. You'll see signs for either. Don't get thrown if you learned one and see the other written down. It means the same place. Good tip. It's the little vocabulary things that can sometimes trip you up,
Exactly. Little points of confusion we want to smooth out.
So, you ask, where are the fitting rooms? They point you in the right direction. But sometimes it's not quite that simple, is it? I feel like I've run into situations where there's like a queue or locked door.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially in bigger stores or during busy times like sales. So a couple of other practical questions might come up. For instance, some places have a limit on how many items you can take in at once.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those little signs, like max 5 items.
Exactly. So if you've got a big armful, it's probably wise to ask beforehand, is there a limit to how many items I can bring in? Saves you getting there and having to, leave half your stuff outside.
That's really practical advice.
Yeah.
I can just picture jiggling clothes trying to decide what to leave behind. Okay, what about locked doors? That happens quite a bit, right?
It does. Sometimes it's for security. Sometimes maybe they're just managing the flow of people. If you find the doors are locked, you just need to find a staff member again.
And say what? Let me in.
Maybe not quite that demanding. A polite, could you unlock a fitting room for me, please? Works perfectly.
Could you unlock a fitting room for me, please?
Okay, nice and polite.
Politeness always helps, especially when you're asking for something.
Right. Let's make this feel real. We have that first sample dialogue. How would that sound?
Okay, imagine the shopper approaches a salesperson.
Shopper. Hi. Excuse me, I'd like to try these shirts on. Where's the fitting room?
Salesperson. Oh, sure, it's just right over there. Past the denim section, near the shoes. Let me just unlock one for you now.
Shopper. Oh, great, thanks.
See? Pretty straightforward. Shopper states the need, asks for location, salesperson directs, and helps proactively with the lock. Very typical.
Yeah, that sounds very, very normal. Takes the stress out of it. Okay, so you're in the fitting room. You try on that sweater, maybe those shirts, and it's not quite right.
The classic fitting room dilemma. It looked great on the hanger, but on you? Maybe it's too tight or way too baggy or the sleeves are weirdly long.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
So now you need help again, right? You need a different size. What are the phrases for that? This is super common. You'll probably need to poke your head out or catch a staff member nearby. The key is asking for the size you need.
So if it's too big,
You'd say, "Excuse me, do you have this in a smaller size?"
okay. And if it's too small?
"Excuse me, is there a larger size available?" Or, "Do you have this in a larger size?" Both work.
What if you know the exact size you need? Like, you tried on a large, but you're pretty sure you need a medium.
Then you can be specific. "Do you have this in a size medium?" Or, "Could you see if you have this in a medium, please?"
Makes sense. Be direct. What if the size is okay, but, the color just isn't working under those harsh-fitting room lights?
Ah, the lighting issue, yes. Or maybe you just decide you'd prefer the blue one after all. In that case, you'd ask, "Could you check if you have this in another color?" Or maybe, "Does this come in any other colors?"
Okay, lots of options there depending on the problem. Let's look at sample dialogue too. Someone's got a jacket that's too tight.
Right. So the shopper might say to an assistant nearby,
Shopper. Excuse me, sorry. This jacket. It's a little tight across the shoulders. Do you possibly have a large size?
"Salesperson. Okay, let me have a look for you. What size is that one you have?"
Shopper. This is a medium.
Salesperson. "All right, you need the large then. Let me just check in the back for you. Might take a moment. Please wait here if you can."
Shopper. Sure, no problem. Thanks.
That interaction is key. The salesperson acknowledges the problem, asks for clarifying info, the current size, and then uses that really important phrase, "Let me check in the back for you."
Yeah, what's the significance of checking in the back?
Well, it means they don't have the size immediately visible on the shop floor, but there might be more stock stored in the stock room, which is usually in the back. It manages expectations they're going to look, but it might take a minute or two. It's much better than a flat, "No, sorry."
Right, it offers a bit of hope. And the "one moment please" or "it might take a moment" is also good, lets you know what's happening.
Exactly. It's about clear and polite communication on both sides.
Okay, so let's fast forward. Maybe they found the larger size, it fits perfectly, you love it, you buy it. Or maybe they didn't have it, but you found something else. You make your purchase, but then you get home.
Ah, the get home moment. You try it on again, maybe with different shoes or in natural light, and suddenly it's not so perfect anymore.
Or maybe you just, changed your mind. Buyer's remorse, it happens.
It absolutely does. And that's where knowing about returns and exchanges is crucial. This can be a real point of anxiety for language learners.
I can see why. You have to go back, explain the problem, maybe deal with policies.
Precisely. But again, knowing the process and the language makes it so much easier. And actually, the smart move, as our sources pointed out, is to think about this before you even buy the item.
Proactive thinking. So what could you ask at the checkout before you pay?
A few key questions can save you a lot of trouble later. The most general one is, what is your return policy?
Okay, what is your return policy? What kind of answer would you expect?
They might say something like, you have 30 days to return items with a receipt for a full refund, as long as the tags are still attached. Or maybe, sale items are exchange only. Policies vary a lot between stores.
So it's really important to ask, what are some other useful questions?
You could ask specifically, can I exchange it if it doesn't fit? Just to be double sure about sizing issues. And critically, how many days do I have to return this item?
The time frame. Yes, that's vital. Some places are 14 days, some 30, some maybe even longer, but you need to know.
Absolutely. And you need to know if it's from the date of purchase or sometimes date of delivery if you bought online, although we're focusing on in-store today.
Right. So always ask about the policy and the time frame. Now, let's say you do need to return something. You've checked the policy, you're within the time frame.
Yeah.
What do you say when you walk up to the till?
Okay, you've got the item, probably in its original bag if possible, and that all-important thing.
The receipt. We have to talk about the receipt.
We absolutely do. The receipt is your proof of purchase. It shows when you bought it, where you bought it, and how much you paid. Without it, returning or exchanging items becomes, well, very difficult, if not impossible, in many stores.
So keep your receipts, folks, especially for clothes. Okay? Got the item, got the receipt. What's the opening line?
To initiate a return, keep it simple. Hi, I'd like to return this, please. And hold up the item and the receipt.
Okay. What if you don't want your money back? You just want a different size of the same thing.
Then you'd say, I'd like to exchange this for a different size. Or maybe, I'd like to exchange this for a size medium, please.
And you can give a brief reason too, right? Like we saw in the outline.
Yes, it often helps. Hi, I bought this yesterday, but it's a bit too small. Can I exchange it for the next size up? Or, I'd like to return these trousers, please. They just don't fit right.
And the first thing they'll probably ask is,
do you have the receipt? Or, can I see your receipt, please? Be ready for it. Have it handy.
Absolutely crucial. Now, you mentioned return and exchange and also refund. Let's just clarify those quickly.
Good idea. They sound similar but mean different things.
Right.
An exchange is when you swap the item you bought for something else. Usually the same item, a different size or color, but sometimes you can exchange for a different item altogether, maybe paying the difference or getting store credit.
Okay, swapping items. Got it. And a return leading to a refund.
A refund is when you return the item and get your money back. Simple as that. The money usually goes back the same way you paid, so if you paid by card, it gets refunded to your card. If you paid cash, you get cash back.
That's a really clear distinction. Exchange, swap, refund, money back. Okay, let's run through those dialogues again to see it in action. Sample dialogue 3, the return.
Okay. Shopper approaches the cashier.
Shopper. Hi there, I bought these jeans a couple of days ago, but they're actually too small for me. I was hoping I could return them.
Cashier. Okay, no problem at all. Do you have your receipt with you?
Shopper. Yes, I do. Right here. Hands over receipt and jeans.
Cashier. Great, thanks. Just checking. Yep, that's within the 28 days. And the tags are still on. Perfect. So I'll just process the refund back onto your card.
Shopper. Excellent. Thank you very much.
See. Smooth. Shopper explained briefly. Cashier asked for the receipt, confirmed policy details, time frame, tags, and explained the refund process.
Very clear. Now, sample dialogue 4, the exchange for a different color.
Right. Similar start.
Shopper. Hello, I bought this shirt last week, but I think I'd prefer it in the blue color instead. Is it possible to exchange it?
Holds up shirt and receipt.
Cashier. Absolutely. Do you have the blue one with you, or do you need to grab it?
Shopper. Oh, I haven't got it yet. I'll just go and find it.
Cashier. Okay, perfect. Just find the blue one in your size, bring them both back here with the receipt, and we'll swap them over for you. No problem.
Shopper. Brilliant. Thanks so much.
Again, very positive and helpful from the cashier. Making the exchange process seem easy and straightforward for the customer. That absolutely, or, of course, really sets a good tone. It really does. It makes you feel less like you're being awkward by wanting to return or exchange something.
Which you're not. It's a normal part of shopping. Stores expect it and have policies for it.
Okay, that covers returns and exchanges pretty well, I think. Let's shift focus now to the people working in the store. The sales assistants wandering the floor, and the cashiers at the tills. Understanding their roles and how to talk to them is key.
Definitely. Knowing who to ask for what and what they're likely to say to you just boosts your confidence.
So first up, the sales assistants. They're the ones usually helping customers find things, right?
Exactly. They're on the shop floor, arranging clothes, maybe helping in the fitting rooms. Their main job is customer assistance, helping you find items, checking for sizes or colors, giving advice if you ask for it.
And the cashiers.
Cashiers are typically stationed at the payment counters, the tills, or registers. Their primary role is handling the money side of things, taking payments, processing those refunds and exchanges we just talked about, and sometimes dealing with loyalty cards or gift wrapping.
Okay, clear roles. Let's focus on the sales assistants first. What are some typical things they might say when they see you browsing? Sometimes they approach you, sometimes they don't.
It varies. Sometimes they'll give you space. Other times they'll offer help proactively. You'll often hear things like, "Can I help you find anything?" Or the slightly more specific, "Are you looking for anything in particular?" or anything specific.
Okay, direct offers of help. What else?
They might say something more passive, like, "Feel free to look around." That's basically saying, "I'm here if you need me, but no pressure." Or a very common one is, "Let me know if you need any help," or "Just give me a shout if you need anything."
Right. So how should you respond? Especially if you don't need help right that second.
If you're happy just browsing, a polite, "I'm just browsing, thank you," is perfect. Or, "I'm okay for now, thanks." It acknowledges them, but signals you don't need immediate assistance.
But what if you do need help? What if you walked in specifically looking for, say, a black dress?
Then you take them up on their offer. "Yes, actually I am. I'm looking for a black dress." Be as specific as you can. "Yes, I'm looking for jeans in a size 32. The more info you give, the better they can help.
Can you ask about other things besides specific items?
Sure. If you're holding something, you could ask, "Do you have this in another style?" Maybe you like the fabric, but not the cut. Or, if you're wondering about price, especially during sales events, "Is there a discount on this item?" Or, "Is this included in the sale?"
Good examples. Let's look at sample dialogue 5 again, putting this together.
Okay. Sales assistant approaches the shopper.
Sales assistant. Hi there. Finding everything okay today? Slightly different opening.
Shopper. "Hi. Yes, I'm actually looking for a specific thing. I need a black dress, preferably knee length, in a size small or medium."
Sales assistant. Okay, sure. We have a few different styles of black dresses over in this section here. Let me show you. The knee-length ones are mostly on this rack.
Shopper. Oh, perfect. Thank you.
That shows how giving more detail helps the assistant narrow it down quickly.
Exactly. Yeah. Clear communication saves time for everyone.
Okay, now let's move to the end of the journey. The cashier. You've chosen your items, you're ready to pay. What happens at the till?
The conversation here is usually quite predictable, focused on the transaction.
First question is usually about payment, right?
Almost always. They'll ask, will that be cash or card? Or maybe, how would you like to pay today?
Simple enough. What else comes up routinely?
Bags are a common one, especially now with environmental concerns. They'll ask, would you like a bag? Or do you need a bag for that? Sometimes bags cost extra, so they have to ask.
Right. Loyalty cards, too, you mentioned.
Yes. If the store has a program, they'll likely ask, do you have our loyalty card? Or are you part of our rewards program?
And finally, the receipt again.
Yep. They'll usually ask, would you like a receipt? Or sometimes, especially now, they might offer different options.
Like in Sample Dialogue 6. Let's hear that interaction.
Okay, shopper arrives at the till.
Cashier. Hi there. Just this one item for you today.
Shopper. Yes, just this, please.
Cashier. Okay. Will you be paying by cash or card?
Shopper. Card, please. Gets card ready.
Cashier. All right. Processes payment. And would you like your receipt printed or shall I email it to you?
Shopper. Oh, email would be great, actually. Thank you.
Cashier. No problem. Can I just take your email address then?
That shows the modern option of email receipts, which is quite common. It's good to be prepared for that question, too.
Definitely. So that covers the main interactions. Now, you mentioned a vocabulary list, specific words that are really handy to know when you're in a clothes store environment.
Yes. Understanding these terms that you'll see on signs or hear staff use can make a big difference. Let's run through them. First, on sale.
We see this everywhere. What exactly does it mean?
Simply that the item's price has been reduced from its original price. It's cheaper than it was.
Yeah.
You might see signs saying sale or 50% off or reduced. It all points to a lower price.
Okay. And how is clearance different from just being on sale?
Clearance usually implies a deeper discount, often because the store really wants to get rid of that stock. It might be end-of-season stuff, maybe the last few items in unpopular sizes, or things they won't be restocking.
So, potentially great bargains, but maybe limited choice?
Exactly. You might find amazing deals on the clearance rack, but don't expect a full range of sizes and colors. And sometimes the return policy for clearance items might be stricter, like exchange only or even final sale, meaning no returns or exchanges at all. Always worth checking.
Good point about checking the policy on clearance. Okay, next term, loyalty card.
We touched on this. It's a card, physical or digital, that stores offer to encourage repeat business. You collect points or stamps with purchases, which then lead to discounts, special offers, or early access to sales.
Worth asking about if you plan to shop somewhere regularly then.
Definitely. The savings can add up over time.
Okay. What about when you ask for something and they just don't have it?
The term for that is out of stock. A salesperson might say, sorry, we're out of stock in size medium, or that particular style is out of stock right now. It means they don't currently have it available for sale. They might sometimes offer to check other branches or order it for you.
Out of stock.
Yeah.
Got it. And the thing that tells you the price?
That's the price tag, a little label attached to the garment showing how much it costs. Sometimes, especially during sales, there might be two prices, the original higher price crossed out and the new lower sale price.
Always check the price tag carefully. Okay, we already discussed fitting room or changing room. That's clear. What about a gift receipt?
Ah, yes. A gift receipt is something you can ask for when you're buying an item as a present for someone else. It's like a normal receipt in that it proves the item was purchased there, but crucially, it doesn't show the price.
So the person receiving the gift can exchange it if it's the wrong size or color, but they won't see how much you spent.
Exactly. It's very useful. Most stores that offer gift wrapping will also offer a gift receipt if you ask when you're paying.
That's a really handy thing to know about. Okay, so we've got the phrases, the vocabulary. Let's try to bring it all together by looking at some slightly more complex or varied real-world shopping scenarios. These examples show how the language adapts.
Yeah, these situations add a bit more context and nuance. Let's start with example 1, shoe shopping.
Okay. Shopper approaches an assistant in the shoe department.
Shopper. Hi, excuse me, could you help me? I'm looking for some running shoes. In a size 9, please.
Sales assistant. Sure, happy to help. Our running shoes are just over here. Were you looking for any particular brand, like Nike or Adidas, or just generally?
Shopper. I'm not too fussed about the brand, just something comfortable for jogging.
Sales assistant. Okay, well, we have these models here, which are very popular. Let me grab size 9 for you to try.
See how the assistant asks a follow-up question about the brand to help narrow things down. Even when the shopper is quite specific, there might be more questions.
Right, good example. Okay, example 2, buying gifts. We touched on the gift receipt. What else?
Often you might want the gift wrapped.
Shopper at the checkout. I've got these items here. They're actually gifts. Would it be possible to get them gift wrapped?
Cashier. Of course. We offer complimentary gift wrapping. It might just take an extra 5 minutes or so. Is that okay?
Shopper. That's perfect, thank you. And can I get gift receipts for them too, please?
Cashier. Certainly. I'll pop those in the bags for you.
Straightforward request for a common service. Asking clearly is all you need.
Precisely. Don't be afraid to ask if they offer wrapping or gift receipts.
Okay, example 3. What if something's actually wrong with the item you bought? Like, it's faulty.
Right, this isn't about fit or changing your mind. This is about quality. Let's say you bought a jacket and the zipper breaks after one wear.
Shopper. Returning to the store with jacket and receipt. Hi, I bought this jacket here just yesterday, but the zipper seems to be broken already. It just won't zip up properly.
Cashier manager. Oh dear, I'm very sorry to hear that. Let me take a look. Examine zipper. Yes, I see what you mean. That definitely shouldn't happen. We can absolutely offer you a full refund for that.
Shopper. Okay, a refund would be fine. Thank you.
Cashier manager. Or, if you'd prefer, I can check if we have another one your size as an exchange.
Shopper. No, I think I'll just take the refund for now. Thanks.
This shows how you explain the fault clearly and how the store should respond, usually offering a refund or a direct replacement for a faulty item, often with an apology.
Yeah, your consumer rights usually cover faulty goods quite strongly. Okay, example 4, navigating sales. Sales can be confusing.
They can. Sometimes it's not clear what's included or how much the discount actually is.
Shopper. Holding a sweater, approaching an assistant. Excuse me, I saw the sign outside advertising 50% off selected knitwear. Is this particular sweater included in that offer?
Sales assistant. We see the tag. Ah, yes, it is. See the little red sticker on the price tag. Anything with a red sticker is part of the 50% off promotion today.
Shopper. Oh, great. I didn't spot the sticker. Thanks for clarifying.
This isn't no problem at all. Happy bargain hunting.
It highlights that it's perfectly okay to ask for clarification during sales. Signs aren't always crystal clear, and staff are there to help explain the deals.
And often there are visual cues, like colored tags or signs in specific areas, that indicate what's part of the sale.
Good to keep an eye out for those. Finally, example 5, asking about other discounts, like for students.
Yes, this is always worth asking about if you might be eligible for something.
Shopper. At the checkout. Just wondering, do you happen to offer any kind of student discount here?
Cashier. Yes, we do actually. It's 10% off full price items. Do you have a valid student ID card I could see?
Shopper. Yes, I do. Here you go. Shows ID.
Cashier. Perfect, thank you. I'll just apply that 10% discount for you now.
It shows it never hurts to ask politely. The worst they can say is no. But always be prepared to show proof, like a student ID, senior card, or whatever is required.
Exactly. Some places offer discounts for seniors, military personnel, maybe even local residents sometimes. It varies.
Okay, those examples really add some practical flavor. We have covered a huge amount of ground today. Seriously, from just asking to try something on, right through different sizes, dealing with returns, talking to staff, the keywords.
All the way to specific situations like sales and faulty items, it's been quite comprehensive.
It has. Now, just to add a little extra polish, we pulled out a few bonus expressions from our sources. These are phrases that can help you sound, well, just a bit more natural, a bit more like a native speaker when you're in these shopping situations.
Yeah, these are quite common idiomatic phrases that fit really naturally into shopping conversations. First one, I'm just window shopping.
What exactly does window shopping mean? Are you actually just looking through the window?
Sometimes, but it generally means you're looking at things in shops, either through the window or browsing inside, but with no real intention of buying anything at that moment. It's a relaxed way of looking around.
So if a sales assistant asks, "Can I help you?" you could say, "No thanks, I'm just window shopping."
Absolutely. It's a very common and polite way to say you're just looking.
Okay, cool. Next one. Could you hold this item for me? When would you use that?
This is useful if you've found something you really like, but maybe you're not 100% sure, or you want to look in another shop first, or you need to pop out to a cash machine. You can ask the sales assistant if they can keep the item aside for you for a short time.
So they put it away so no one else buys it.
Exactly. They might hold it for an hour, or maybe until the end of the day, depending on their policy. It's not guaranteed they'll say yes, especially if it's a very popular item or during a busy sale. But it's always worth asking politely, could you possibly hold this for me for about an hour?
Good one to know. What about when you've tried something or considered it and decided not to buy it right now?
A very common, polite, and slightly indirect way to signal this is, I'll think about it.
I'll think about it. So it's like a polite no.
Pretty much. Or at least, not right now. It avoids a blunt, no, I don't want it, and leaves the door slightly open, even if you have no intention of coming back. Sales staff hear it all the time.
Okay, that's a useful social nicety. What about describing fit instead of just, it doesn't fit?
A slightly softer, more nuanced way to say it, especially if you're talking to an assistant, is, this doesn't fit quite right.
Doesn't fit quite right. What does the quite right add?
It just softens it. Maybe it's a bit tight here, a bit loose there. It's not drastically wrong, but it's not perfect. It sounds a little less abrupt than it doesn't fit. It's just a common phrasing.
I like that. Sounds more natural. And the last bonus one, which is maybe more relevant for online shopping, but good to know anyway.
Yes, the question, do you offer free returns? When buying online, you can't try things on, so the returns process is even more important. Knowing if you have to pay for the postage to send an item back, return shipping, can be a deciding factor.
So asking, do you offer free returns, clarifies if the company will cover that cost if you need to send something back.
Precisely. Really important for online clothes shopping. Less common to ask in a physical store, as you usually just bring it back yourself. But the concept of free returns is good vocabulary.
Well, that feels like a very thorough toolkit we've assembled. That brings us pretty much to the end of this deep dive into the language of clothes shopping in English.
We've really covered the whole journey, haven't we? From that initial, can I try this on?
To asking for different sizes, navigating the fitting rooms.
Handling returns and exchanges. Understanding the difference between a refund and an exchange.
Knowing what to expect from sales assistants and cashiers and how to respond.
Getting familiar with key vocabulary like clearance and gift receipts.
Running through those real-life scenarios and even adding those bonus phrases for extra fluency.
Phew. Yeah, it's been a lot. But hopefully the main takeaway for you listening is a feeling of, well, increased confidence.
Absolutely. The goal here isn't just to learn phrases, it's to feel more comfortable and empowered when you're in that situation. Knowing you can handle the communication takes a huge layer of potential stress away.
It really does. It lets you focus more on the actual shopping, finding things you like rather than worrying about what to say.
We genuinely hope this makes your next shopping trip in English feel smoother, maybe even more enjoyable. And remember, practice really helps. Maybe rehearse a few of these phrases before you go out.
Or even just saying them out loud now can help embed them in your memory. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification either. If you don't understand something a staff member says, it's okay to ask them to repeat it or explain.
Totally. Okay. Sorry, could you say that again? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Perfectly normal things to say.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much for sticking with us through this really detailed, deep dive. We know it was a long one, but hopefully incredibly useful. We really appreciate you spending your time learning with us.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
And one last reminder, if you did find this helpful and you want more practical English for different situations, travel, work, daily life, please make sure you're subscribed to English Easy here. It helps us out and means you won't miss future deep dives.
We hope we've given you a really solid foundation and a useful toolkit for your next shopping adventure.
We really do. And thinking about other everyday situations, we'd love to leave you with a question to ponder. What other everyday situations do you find challenging to navigate or communicate in using English?
That's a great question. Thinking about those challenges helps identify where more learning could be useful.
Let us know your thoughts, maybe in comments if you can, or just think about it for yourself. It might even give us ideas for future topics. Thanks again for tuning in.
Until next time, happy shopping.
Bye for now.
Hello, and welcome everyone to this deep dive.
Great to be here.
Before we really get going today, if you find these explorations helpful, maybe take a quick second to subscribe to English Easy here. It really helps us out.
It does indeed.
So today, we're tackling something super important for anyone traveling. Whether you're, a seasoned globetrotter or maybe planning your very first trip abroad.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about navigating hotel stays in English.
Yeah, and this isn't just about like knowing one or two basic phrases.
No, not at all. It's really about feeling confident, feeling in control through the whole process from start to finish.
That's the goal, and we've got a couple of really good sources to guide us today. Both are actually titled Hotel Vocabulary in English: How to Book, Check In, and Check Out.
Right, similar titles. One says it helps you navigate hotel situations smoothly, with an exclamation mark even.
Yeah. And the other one calls itself a massive complete guide for real-life travel situations. It sounds pretty comprehensive.
It really does. And looking through them, they really do offer a fantastic overview, kind of covering all the language you're likely going to need.
Absolutely. Together, they paint a really full picture.
So our mission today, our goal for this deep dive is pretty clear. We want to equip you, our listener, with the vocabulary, the phrases, everything you need to confidently handle, well, every step.
Right. From the moment you think about booking.
All the way through checking out. And even, dealing with those little things that might go wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
Unexpected issues.
Yeah, the hiccups. We'll definitely cover those. We're going to unpack the essentials and give plenty of practical examples you can actually use.
Because honestly, it makes such a difference, doesn't it? Whether it's a business trip, that vacation you've been waiting for, or, maybe even an unexpected stopover. Feeling comfortable with the language just smooths everything out. It can really change the whole experience.
Totally. It turns what could be stressful into something, well, manageable. Pleasant, even.
Exactly. So let's just dive right in. First stop, booking a room. This is where it all begins.
Okay. The initial contact. How do you start that conversation?
Well, the sources are pretty aligned here. Politeness is key, right from the get-go.
Definitely. Simple, clear phrases work best. Something like, hello, I would like to book a room, please. Very standard, very effective.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that. Or maybe you want to check availability first.
Right. You could say, do you have any rooms available for this weekend? Or maybe for specific dates. Do you have any rooms available from the 10th to the 12th of July?
Or even, as one source mentioned, asking about vacancies. Are there any vacancies for next week? Same idea.
Exactly. All good ways to kick things off.
Okay, so you've made contact. Now you need to get specific. Just asking for a room isn't usually enough information for them?
No, not at all. You need to specify the type of room and for how long you need it.
So what would that sound like?
Well, you could say, for example, I need a single room for 2 nights. Straightforward.
Or if there are 2 of you?
Then maybe, can I book a double room? And maybe add a preference. Like, can I book a double room with a balcony? If that's something you're hoping for.
Okay. And what if you have like a specific amenity in mind? Like a bathtub. Some people really want a bathtub.
That's a good point. You'd ask directly, do you have any rooms available with a bathtub? It's better to ask up front than be disappointed later.
Definitely makes sense. And, everyone loves a good deal, or at least knowing what's included. How do you ask about discounts or inclusions like breakfast?
Yeah, super important for budgeting. You can ask, do you offer any discounts for early bookings? That's a common one.
Or maybe just more generally.
Sure. Are there any special offers available for my dates? And the big one, always ask, is breakfast included in the room rate?
Oh, yeah. That can make a huge difference to your morning plans and your wallet.
Absolutely. Knowing that upfront is key.
Okay, so beyond the basics, room type, dates, breakfast people often have other preferences. It'll be the view or how noisy the room might be.
Right. Specific requests. If a view matters, you could try, can I have a room with a sea view? Or maybe, could I request a room facing the park?
Or maybe just higher up.
Yeah, could I have a room on a higher floor? Sometimes comes with a better view or feels quieter.
And speaking of quiet, what if you're a light sleeper?
Then you definitely want to ask, can I request a quiet room? Perhaps away from the elevator or the ice machine. Those can be noisy spots.
Good tip. And what about things like allergies? That's becoming more common.
Very important point. For people with allergies, asking, do you provide hypoallergenic bedding is essential for a comfortable stay. Don't hesitate to ask that.
That's really crucial for some folks.
Yeah.
Okay, and thinking about special occasions, maybe a birthday trip or an anniversary, can you ask for anything extra?
You certainly can. Hotels often try to accommodate if possible. You could inquire, maybe, could you arrange for a romantic decoration in the room, if it's that kind of trip?
Or like, we're celebrating our anniversary, do you offer any special packages or amenities for that?
Exactly. It never hurts to ask politely. The worst they can say is no, but often they can add a little something.
Fantastic. Now, this is super important. Before you actually confirm and give your credit card details, there are some key questions you absolutely need answers to avoid nasty surprises later.
Oh, absolutely critical stage. First and foremost, the price.
Right. What's the exact question there?
You need to ask, what is the nightly rate? And immediately follow up with, and are taxes included in that price? Because often they aren't initially quoted.
Yes. That base rate can jump up quite a bit with taxes and fees. Good point. What else is crucial at this stage?
The rules. Specifically, what is your cancellation policy? You need to know how much notice you need to give if your plans change.
And maybe ask about penalties.
Definitely. Is there a penalty fee if I need to cancel? Or how late can I cancel without charge? Very important.
Okay. What else? Minimum stay.
Good one, especially for short trips. Ask, is there a minimum stay requirement for these dates? Sometimes weekends or holidays have them.
Makes sense. Anything else related to timing or flexibility?
Yes. Think about your arrival and departure. Do you offer late checkout options? And if so, is there an additional fee for that?
Useful if you have a late flight. And speaking of flights, transport.
Right. If you're flying in, is there a shuttle service from the airport to the hotel? That can save hassle and money.
And what if your plans are maybe a bit uncertain? Can you change dates?
It's worth asking up front, can I change the reservation dates later without extra charges if needed? Policies vary a lot on this.
Okay. And a big one for some travelers. Pets.
Crucial if you're traveling with a furry friend.
Mm-hmm.
Do you accept pets? And always follow up with, are there any specific restrictions or fees for pets?
Very important distinction.
Yeah.
Okay, one more. Sometimes hotels have different room categories, right? Like standard versus deluxe.
Yes, and the difference isn't always clear from the name. So ask, what is the main difference between a standard room and a deluxe room? It helps you understand what you're paying for. Size, view, amenities.
Wow, okay. That's a really solid checklist of questions before you book. It covers so much ground.
It really does. Taking a few extra minutes to ask these questions can save you a lot of trouble down the line.
And the sources give us some nice concrete examples of how these booking conversations might actually sound. Let's run through a couple.
Yeah, seeing it in action helps. Here's one. Hi, I'm calling to reserve a room for next Friday. I would like a double bed and a non-smoking room, please.
Okay, nice and clear. States the date, the bed type, and a key preference, non-smoking. Very efficient.
Exactly. Here's another, booking multiple rooms. I'd like to book 2 rooms, please. One with a king-size bed and the other with 2 twin beds. For the dates, June 5th through Juneteenth.
Again, very specific. Covers the number of rooms, the different bed types needed for each, and the exact dates. Perfect.
And one more dealing with timing. Is it possible to check in earlier than your standard 3 p.m. time? My flight arrives quite early, around 10 a.m.
That's a super common situation. Shows how to politely ask about early check-in, giving a reason.
Mm-hmm. These examples make it feel much more real.
Definitely. Now, one of the guides, the Massive Complete Guide, does something really useful. It tailors some booking questions based on why you're traveling.
Ah, right. Business versus leisure versus family. Good distinction.
Yeah. So for business travelers, what are their typical priorities when booking?
Usually it's about efficiency and facilities for work. So key questions might be, do you have business facilities like meeting rooms or a dedicated business center?
Makes sense. And connectivity.
Oh, absolutely essential. Is there a fast and reliable internet connection, specifically Wi-Fi, available in the guest rooms and common areas? That's non-negotiable for many business travelers.
Totally. Can't be dealing with spotty Wi-Fi on a work trip. Okay, what about vacationers? Leisure travel. Different focus there.
Completely different. Here, it's more about relaxation, fun, maybe exploring. So you might hear questions like, does the hotel have a swimming pool or perhaps a spa area?
Right. Amenities for enjoyment.
Yeah.
And exploring the area.
Yeah. They might ask, are there any guided tours or local excursions that can be booked through the hotel concierge, making it easy to see the sights?
Nice. And the third category, family travel. What are the big questions for parents traveling with kids?
Families often need more space and maybe some kid-focused amenities, so questions like, do you offer family suites or rooms that connect to each other are common.
Good point. Connecting rooms are great for families. Anything else?
maybe about keeping the kids entertained or looked after. Is there a kids' play area on site? Or even, do you offer a babysitting service? That can be a lifesaver for parents wanting a night out.
Absolutely. These tailored questions are brilliant. It really shows how thinking about your specific trip type helps you ask the right questions right from the start.
It ensures the hotel fits your actual needs, not just providing a bed.
Now, remember those extra tips from the first source for booking? They seem worth repeating.
Definitely. 2 key takeaways there. First, always confirm the final price, including all taxes and fees. Don't just assume the first number they give you is the total.
Crucial. That plus tax can be significant. And the second tip.
Understand the cancellation policy inside out. Know the deadline, know the penalties, read the fine print if you're booking online. Don't just click agree.
Vital advice. Saves potential headaches and money later on. Okay, so booking is done. You've asked all the right questions. You've confirmed everything. Fast forward to travel day. You arrive at the hotel. Next step, checking in.
Right. The moment of arrival. Again, first impressions count.
So how do you approach the front desk?
Start with a polite greeting, naturally. Good afternoon or good evening is always a good start. Then state your purpose clearly.
Like what?
I have a reservation under the name, your last name. Simple, direct. Or if you booked online, maybe I made a booking online. My confirmation number is... Though usually the name is enough.
Okay, straightforward. Now, what about that early arrival scenario we mentioned? You get there before the official check-in time. How do you ask?
You can politely inquire, is it possible to check in early, please? Or the slightly more direct, can I check in early? Both are perfectly fine. They'll let you know if your room is ready or not.
And what if it's not ready? We'll get to receptionist responses later, but what can you do?
Usually they can store your luggage, which is helpful.
Good point. Now, room preferences. Maybe you asked for a quiet room or a high floor when you booked. Should you mention it again at check-in?
It generally doesn't hurt to politely reiterate just in case. You could say, just confirming, I believe I requested a room on a higher floor if possible.
Okay. And what about seeing the room first? Is that a thing?
One source mentions asking, could I possibly see the room before I finalize the check-in? But honestly, this might not always be feasible for the hotel, especially if they're busy. But you could ask...
Worth knowing it's an option, maybe. And other preferences, like the view.
Yeah, you could gently remind them or ask again, if possible, could I have a room with a nice view? Or could I have a room away from the street noise?
Got it. Now, practical matters at check-in. Deposits, extra fees.
Yes, this is the time to clarify those. Ask, is there a security deposit required, and how much is it? Good to know up front.
And other potential charges.
Definitely ask, are there any other mandatory fees, like resort fees, that I should know about? Sometimes these aren't included in the room rate.
Resort fees, yes. Those can be sneaky.
Yeah.
What about basic amenities, like water?
You could ask, does the room come with complimentary bottled water? Some do, some don't.
And parking, if you drove.
Very practical question. Is there parking available for hotel guests? And crucially, is there a charge for parking? And if so, how much per day?
Right, parking fees can add up quickly in some cities. Okay, these are all vital details to sort out right at the start.
Absolutely. Clarity at check-in prevents confusion at checkout.
And like before, the sources give us some solid examples of check-in conversations.
Yep, let's hear a few. Good evening. I have a reservation for tonight. It should be under the name Emily Johnson. Polite, clear, gives the name.
Perfect. Another one.
I'd like to request a room on a higher floor, if one is available. Shows how to state a preference politely.
And the parking question.
Just simply, is there parking available for guests? Straight to the point.
These are great, very standard interactions. The other source, the massive guide, adds a few more scenarios you might run into.
Right, like combining the early arrival with having a reservation.
I have a reservation, but I've arrived a bit earlier than expected. Is there any chance my room might be ready?
Yeah, that sounds very natural. What else?
Practical things once you're at the desk. Could you please tell me where the elevators are located? You'll probably need those.
Yes, essential information.
And luggage help.
If you have heavy bags, asking, is there someone available who could possibly help me bring my bags up to the room, is the way to request a bellhop.
All very common things you might need to say right after arriving. Really useful phrases.
Definitely good ones to have ready.
Okay, let's slip the perspective. What are you likely to hear from the receptionist during check-in?
There are some standard responses. Often, after welcoming you, they'll say something like, Welcome to the hotel name. May I please see your ID and a credit card?
Standard procedure. ID check and card for incidentals. Right.
Exactly. They need to verify who you are and have a card on file for any extras you might charge to the room, like room service or minibar items.
Makes sense. And once they've processed things.
If the room's ready, you'll hear, okay, your room is ready for you. Here are your keys, or more likely these days, here is your key card.
And if you asked about checking in early, but it's not possible yet.
You might hear, I do apologize, but check-in time isn't officially until 3 p.m. However, we'd be happy to store your luggage for you if you'd like to explore the area.
That luggage storage offer is key.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
Definitely. They might rephrase the ID card request slightly, like, may I see a valid photo ID and a credit card for incidental charges? Same meaning.
And they usually tell you the checkout time too, right?
Yes, typically they'll say, just to let you know, checkout is by 11:00 a.m. We hope you enjoy your stay, or whatever the specific time is for that hotel.
And if you ask for help with bags?
They might respond proactively, would you like some assistance with your luggage? I can call bellhop for you.
Okay, great. This gives a really good feel for that whole check-in interaction, both sides of the conversation.
Knowing what to expect makes it much less daunting.
So, check-in, successful, you've got your key card, you find the elevator, you head up to your room, you open the door, and hopefully it's perfect.
Hopefully, but sometimes things aren't quite right, and you need to know how to handle that.
This is a really important part. How do you report a problem without sounding, rude or demanding?
Yeah, this is where politeness is absolutely crucial, as both sources stress. Even if you're frustrated, maybe the AC isn't working or the room isn't clean, starting the conversation calmly and politely will almost always get you a better, faster result.
Keep your cool. Good advice. So let's talk specifics. Common problems. Temperature issues seem pretty frequent. Too hot, too cold.
Right. If the air conditioning isn't working, you could call the front desk and say, excuse me, the air conditioner in my room, your room number doesn't seem to be working.
Or the opposite, if it's freezing.
The heating in my room isn't working properly. Simple, clear.
What about hot water? That's a must-have.
Definitely. I'm sorry to bother you, but there seems to be no hot water in my room. Or just, the hot water is not working in my room.
And sometimes the AC unit itself might be faulty, leaking.
Yeah, that can happen. The air conditioner unit seems to be leaking water onto the floor. That needs attention quickly.
Okay, temperature covered. What about tech issues? Wi-Fi is a big one these days.
Huge. If the connection is bad, you could say, the Wi-Fi signal in my room is very weak, or I'm having trouble connecting to the Wi-Fi in room number.
Got it. Now, what if the room itself just isn't up to scratch? Maybe cleanliness issues?
This can be awkward, but it needs addressing. You could start generally. I seem to have found a problem with the bathroom. Could you possibly send someone to take a look?
Okay. And it's clearly a cleaning issue.
Be direct but polite. The room doesn't seem to have been cleaned very thoroughly before I arrived. Could housekeeping please attend to it? Or, if it's bad, could I perhaps be moved to a different room?
What about specific things? Like dirty sheets?
Just state the fact calmly. The bed sheets appear to be dirty. Could I please have housekeeping come and change them?
And, strange smells.
Yeah, that's unpleasant. There seems to be a strange smell in my room. Is it possible to change rooms? That's usually the best solution for a smell.
Okay, these are good, clear ways to report issues. What about noise? That can ruin a stay. Noise from next door.
Very common complaint. You could call down and say, I'm sorry to complain, but there's a lot of noise coming from the room next door. It's making it hard to sleep.
And maybe suggest a solution.
Yeah, you could add, would it be possible to perhaps be moved to a quieter room?
Okay. Technical stuff beyond Wi-Fi. TV not working.
Yep. Hi. The television in my room, number, isn't turning on. Could someone please take a look when they have a moment?
Over the remote.
The TV remote control doesn't seem to be working. Could I possibly get a replacement? Usually an easy fix.
And the room's safe. If it's locked or you can't get it to work.
Security is important.
Huh.
The safe in my room is locked and I can't open it. Could someone assist me with that?
Right. And service issues. Say you ordered room service and it's taking ages.
Give it a reasonable amount of time, then follow up politely. Hello, I placed a room service order about an hour ago to room number. Could you perhaps check on the status of that for me?
Good phrasing. Now, sometimes it's not a problem. You just need more of something. Extra towels, pillows.
Exactly. Simple requests. Could we please have some extra towels sent to our room?
Or bedding.
Could I please request an extra pillow and maybe another blanket? Hotels usually have these readily available.
A shorter way for towels.
I need more towels, please. Perfectly fine.
Ironing board. Need to look sharp.
Is it possible to get an iron and an ironing board delivered to my room? Very common request, especially for business travelers.
And toiletries. Run out of shampoo.
Could I please get some extra toiletries? Shampoo and soap, maybe? Just ask housekeeping or the front desk.
Great. These cover most of the common requests and problems. And again, the sources give us examples of these in action.
Yeah, like the TV example. Hi, I noticed that the TV in my room isn't turning on. Can someone check it? Clear, polite.
And the dirty sheets.
The bed sheets are dirty. Could housekeeping come and change them? Direct, specific request.
And the strange smell example leading to a room change request.
There's a strange smell in my room. Could I change rooms? States the problem and the desired outcome.
Perfect. And that extra tip from the first source about handling problems, worth mentioning again.
Absolutely. Just reinforces the point. Always remain calm and polite. It genuinely helps get things resolved more smoothly. Hotel staff are usually more responsive to courteous guests.
Sound advice for any service interaction, really. Okay, so hopefully any issues were sorted out. You had a good stay overall. And now it's time to leave. Check it out.
The final step. Usually much quicker than checking in.
How do you start the process at the front desk?
Simple again. Good morning or good afternoon, followed by, I'd like to check out, please. Both sources agree on this straightforward approach.
Can't get much clearer than that. Now the bill. Always a good idea to look it over. How do you ask for it?
You can say, could I please have a copy of my final bill? Or maybe, could I review my bill before I pay?
And if you prefer it emailed, save paper.
Just ask, could you email me the receipt, please? And be ready to give them your email address. Very common now.
Okay, what if your flight isn't until much later? You've checked out of the room, but you have hours to kill. Luggage.
Big question for many travelers. Ask, is it possible to leave my bags here for a few hours after I check out?
Or be more specific.
Yeah, my flight isn't until 7 p.m. tonight. Could I store my luggage here until, say, 5 p.m.? Most hotels offer this service, often complimentary.
That's incredibly useful.
Mm-hmm.
What about getting to the airport or train station? Can the hotel help arrange that?
Usually, yes. The front desk or concierge can help. Ask, could you please call a taxi for me to get to the airport?
Or just, could you arrange a taxi to the airport?
Exactly. Or they might even ask you, remember, would you like us to arrange transportation for you?
Right. And assuming you had a good experience, it's nice to say so.
Mm.
What are some polite closing remarks?
A simple, thank you, I had a great stay, goes a long way. Or, I had a wonderful stay here. Thank you so much for your help.
Always nice to end on a positive note. And, you guessed it, examples. Let's see some checkout scenarios.
Okay. Combining checkout with a request. I'd like to check out now. Could you possibly send someone up to help with my luggage?
Practical. What about payment methods? Maybe you booked with one card but want to pay with another.
Good question to ask. Is it okay if I pay with a different credit card than the one I used for the initial booking? Usually fine, but good to confirm.
And asking for the emailed receipt again.
Could you please email me the receipt? Simple and effective.
The other source had a few more checkout examples too, right?
Mm-hmm. The luggage storage one again, phrased slightly differently. I'm checking out now, but my flight is in the evening. Can I leave my bags here and pick them up later? Reconfirms the possibility.
Okay. And splitting the bill. Maybe traveling with a friend.
You could ask, would it be possible to split the payment between 2 credit cards? Hotels can usually accommodate this.
And the minibar. Gotta fess up if you used it.
Right. Honesty is best. Just letting you know, I did use a couple of items from the minibar. Could you please add those to my bill? They'll likely ask anyway, but it's good to mention it.
Definitely. Prevents issues later. So, what might the receptionist say during checkout?
Well, related to the minibar, they might ask directly, did you take anything from the minibar during your stay? Just a standard question.
And the farewell.
Usually something polite and standard like, thank you for staying with us. We hope to see you again soon.
Nice and simple. Okay, so that covers the main interaction points. Booking, check-in, problems, checkout. But you interact with other staff too, not just the front desk.
That's a really good point. You might need help or information from housekeeping, the concierge, bellhops.
So what are some common things you might ask other staff members? Looking for restaurant tips.
Yeah, classic concierge question. Can you recommend a good local restaurant nearby? Or maybe specify, that's good for families. Or with vegetarian options.
Good idea to be specific. What about directions or transport?
You could ask anyone, really, what's the best way to get to downtown from here? Or ask the doorman or bellhop, could you please help me get a taxi?
Wake-up calls. Who handles that?
Usually the front desk, but you could ask, could you please arrange a wake-up call for me tomorrow at 6 a.m.?
And finding things in the hotel, like the gym.
Ask anyone at the front desk or maybe housekeeping if you see them in the hall. Excuse me, could you tell me where the gym is located? Or the pool? Or the business center?
These are all super useful phrases for getting help during your stay. And it helps to know who does what, right? The different roles.
Absolutely. Knowing the roles helps you ask the right person. So you have the front desk clerk. They're your main point of contact for check-in, check-out, billing, general questions.
As a concierge.
They are the local experts, typically. Great for booking tours, making restaurant reservations, getting theater tickets, arranging special requests. Use them.
Good resource. Housekeeping.
They keep your room clean, provide fresh towels, linens, and those extra amenities like toiletries or an extra pillow if you call and ask.
Okay. The bellhop, or bellman porter.
Their main job is helping with luggage, bringing it to your room when you arrive, helping you take it down when you leave, often tipped for their service.
Right. And if something is broken.
That's maintenance. If the AC breaks, the TV won't work, or there's a plumbing issue, you'll report it to the front desk, and they'll likely send someone from maintenance to fix it.
That's a really helpful breakdown of who's who. Makes it less confusing.
Definitely. Knowing the roles streamlines getting help.
Now, both sources had that handy bonus section with key vocabulary. Let's quickly recap some of the most important terms. They really help solidify understanding.
Yeah, a good glossary is always useful. Let's go through them. Reservation. That's simply your booking, made in advance.
Sweet. What's that again?
A larger room, usually more expensive, often with a separate living or sitting area in addition to the bedroom. Sometimes multiple bedrooms.
Okay. Concierge. We just covered them. The helper for bookings, recommendations, local info.
Right. Amenities. These are the extra features the hotel offers. Think pool, gym, spa, free breakfast, Wi-Fi, business center.
Late checkout. The option to stay past the normal checkout time, maybe for a fee.
No show. This is what happens if you have a reservation but don't arrive and don't cancel. You'll likely be charged, often for the first night.
Important to know. Complimentary means free of charge, like complimentary breakfast or complimentary Wi-Fi.
Deposit. Money you pay up front, either to hold the room or as security against damages or incidental charges.
Incidentals. Those extra charges we mentioned, minibar, room service, movies, phone calls, maybe damages. The reason they take your credit card at check-in.
Valet parking, where you leave your car at the entrance and a hotel staff member parks it for you and retrieves it when needed. Usually costs extra.
Room service. Ordering food and drinks to be delivered right to your room.
And lobby. The main entrance hall of the hotel, usually where the front desk and often seating areas, maybe a bar or cafe are located.
That's a fantastic vocabulary list. Understanding those terms makes hotel websites, confirmations, and conversations much clearer.
Absolutely. It's the language of the hotel world.
Finally, the guides gave examples of actual hotel brand names, which is interesting, kind of categorizing them.
Yeah, it gives you a sense of what to expect. For example, they mention Hilton Hotels, known globally for pretty consistent, excellent service.
And Marriott hotels.
Similar reputation, good amenities for both business and leisure, generally professional service, reliable choices.
Okay, those are big, well-known chains. What about more budget-focused options?
They listed several. Holiday Inn and Holiday Inn Express, often seen as budget-friendly, good for families, reliable standard.
That's Western.
Also, generally affordable, often independently owned, but part of the brand, aiming for a cozy, convenient feel.
And Motel 6.
That one was highlighted as really being on the budget end. Simple, basic, often roadside locations, good for quick, no-frill stays, like on a road trip.
So, a clear, affordable tier. What about the other end of the spectrum? Luxury.
Yes, several examples there. Four Seasons and the Ritz-Carlton were mentioned as top-tier luxury brands. Expect high-end service, amazing amenities, and, well, higher prices.
And the Waldorf Astoria.
Also in that iconic luxury category, known for grand hotels and very personalized high-end experiences. Great places to practice formal English, actually.
Right.
True. The level of interaction might be higher. Any other brands mentioned for specific things?
Yeah, a couple. La Quinta Inn and Suites was noted as being generally pet-friendly, which is great info for pet owners, and often good for families too. And Sheraton Hotels.
Described as often being stylish hotels found in major cities, frequently catering to business travelers, but also good for leisure.
Okay, this context with real brands is surprisingly helpful. It makes the different levels and types of hotels more concrete.
It does. You start to associate the language and potential experiences with actual places you might stay.
Well, this has been incredibly thorough. I feel like we've really walked through the entire hotel experience piece by piece, focusing on the English needed at each stage.
Yeah, from that very first, I'd like to book a room, right through to, thank you, I had a great stay, at the end.
We covered booking, specifying needs, asking key questions.
Checking in, handling potential room problems politely, requesting extras.
Checking out smoothly, understanding the bill, asking for help with luggage or transport.
Interacting with different staff members like the concierge and housekeeping, and even learning key vocabulary and getting a feel for different hotel brands.
It's a lot. But hopefully breaking it down like this makes it feel much more manageable.
That's the aim. For you, the listener, to feel much more confident and prepared when you're staying in a hotel in an English-speaking environment.
Because that confidence really does enhance the whole travel experience, doesn't it? It frees you up to actually enjoy the trip.
Absolutely. Less worrying about misunderstandings, more focusing on the purpose of your travel, whether it's work or fun.
So here's a little something to think about as we wrap up. Consider your next trip, or even just imagine one. How might you use some of these phrases we discussed today?
Maybe think about the difference. How would you talk to the staff at, say, a Motel 6 versus the Ritz-Carlton? The core phrases might be similar, but the tone, maybe some vocabulary choices, might shift slightly.
That's a great point. And just practicing these phrases in your head or even saying them out loud can make a huge difference when the real situation comes up.
It really can. Mastering this kind of practical, situational English is a key step towards smoother travels, feeling more connected, and just opening up more possibilities when you explore the world.
Couldn't agree more. It empowers you as a traveler.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this very detailed deep dive into hotel English. We really covered a lot of ground.
It was a pleasure. Hopefully everyone listening found it genuinely useful.
We sincerely hope so. Thank you for sticking with us all the way through this exploration.
Yes, thanks for your time and attention.